This is 400 shots in World of Tanks. We start off our game in the somewhat neglected Soviet Tier 8 premium tank, the T-54 Mod 1. Fun fact, this was actually my first premium tank. The Mod 1 is a variation of the T-54. It is a versatile medium with well-rounded attributes. It can have decent armor and okay firepower, which makes it suitable for various roles on the battlefield. Here on steps, we had enough mobility to catch out and spot the enemy tanks getting into position in those bushes over there, while my heavies are catching up from behind. I can punish the enemies that are peeking and exposing themselves. I have to say this tank feels quite snappy on the battlefield, but it is far from perfect. Its first drawback is its low alpha damage, which means that it needs to stay exposed longer to deal significant damage. It can do only 1,955 damage per minute, which is somewhat low for a Tier 8 medium. It has a 100mm 250 alpha damage gun with 190mm of penetration, which is really not much at all for a Tier 8. Good thing it is a premium, and it makes some extra credits, because if you are facing the enemy from the front, the likelihood is that you will have to load some premium to go through. The second weakness of the tank is its armor. It has only 210mm of effective armor on its upper hull. The tank's turret armor is doing a bit better, but all of this puts the tank in an awkward situation, where it can't really rely on its firepower or its armor. But if you want to see a tank that absolutely can rely on its armor, you have to stay and wait for the last game of this episode, where we will block a truly mind-boggling amount of shells. Oh no! Double-tracked! Now this is not good, and the armor is not doing its job very well! Come on, crew! Fix up this track already! Oh, but it's no use! We just got retracked! Well, at least under this angle, we've actually bounced more shells than I thought we would! Okay, sure, some go through, but by my experience, I should have been gone by now. Now come on, please, no more retracking shots. I really want to stay alive. And it looks like my wishes were granted. Just look at those battle scars. I think I'm going to stay a bit further back from now on. We only have 130 HP left, but it is time to get some revenge on those enemies. Goodbye, Mr. Progetto. And what do we have here? It is the ELC even 90. He must have been the one that spotted me in the first place. Well, you shall pay for the pain and suffering you have caused me. It serves you right for playing a broken tank with broken camo values. Now for this one, I'm not too sure whether it connected or not. Hi, Progetto. Well, that one sure didn't connect. I saw it went high. But that's all right, because it looks like we will be winning this game. Just look at my team's positioning on the map. We pretty much have the enemies pushed all the way back to their base. That doesn't necessarily mean it is safe to push into the open ground, which is a lesson I learned the hard way. But regardless of all that, I have to say, I quite enjoy the Mod 1. It must be the nostalgia speaking, and the fact this is my OG premium tank. Now off to the next game, this time in something that is much newer to the game. It is the Contraccaro 1 Mark II, the Tier 9 Italian TD. Its gameplay style is characterized by its high alpha damage autoloader gun that has good penetration, which allows it to deal significant damage to enemy vehicles, whether that be from a distance or up close, because it also has very decent frontal armor. If you don't include its horns, that is. They are the weak points of this tank. Higher tier Italian TDs are quite an interesting tank to play. It often makes sense to push the front line and let the armor do its thing. Not that it excuses silly pushes like this one. You can push with this tank, but make sure you have support from your allies, because outflanking and circling the Contraccaro is really not that difficult. And once the enemy has the side or the rear, there is not much you can do about it without having some friendlies for your support. But in this case, it worked out. We managed to take down the Standard B, and now it's time to make our way out of here. We were really lucky to take only one shot of damage in that greedy push. Here we have the T-34-3, the Chinese medium tank. Can we get any shells into him? Doesn't look like it. But we sure can get this E-50 that reversed just in time for me to put one into him. Oh, poor fella, looks like someone managed to track him. Well, let me finish you off then. Once you have the enemy in front of you, the 490 alpha damage autoloader can do some serious damage. It has an intra-clip reload of 8 seconds, and once the shell is loaded, it will usually go through, since it has proper 250 millimeters of penetration. However, the dispersion of the gun is not the best at 0.40, which makes it just another reason to keep the enemy close and brawl your way through the game. But this Caliban seems to be a bit of a stubborn fella, so let me listen to my own advice and get closer. You are not bouncing this one. You know what? Let's get even closer. Ah, yes, there we go. He is taken care of. But so am I! No, I did not anticipate an object sniping from the back, even though I probably should. But 2,431 damage in such a short game is still a good result. And my team managed to secure us a win. This game earned me enough XP to unlock the Minotauro. But if you want to see me play this tier 10 beast, you will have to subscribe to not miss the next video featuring it. Until then, we will first hop into another TD that has insane armor. And it is the VIPERA. Yes, I know. 2 Italian TDs in a row, I hear you ask. Well, trust me, this one is worth watching because this game will show what it looks like to block more shells than you can count. You can keep an eye on the counter on the left, and let me know in the comments, how many shells do you think we will block in this game? And to block all of these shells, we will of course make our way to the hill position on the right side of the map. And here we encounter the Alt Proto AMX-30. This is apparently a tier 8 French premium. Not going to lie, I have no idea what this tank even is. Except that he seems to have a pretty decent turret armor. Hellcat, on the other hand, has no armor whatsoever. He seems to have realized that since he has backed off. But let's see, can we get the Frenchie? Nope, and the Arty has also located us. That is no fun. I suppose no matter how much armor you have, there is no blocking big caliber HE shells. Speaking of blocking, let's take a look at some characteristics of this tank. Let's start with the gun, which the enemy SU conveniently just destroyed. Anyways, it has a 120mm caliber gun, which fires its shells at such a velocity. They easily penetrate 220mm of armored plating, and once the shell penetrates, it does do a decent amount of damage as well. But everyone seems to be flinging HE shells at me. Just look at my front. It has craters in it. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted, I was talking about the gun and its 400 alpha damage. With a clip holding 5 shells, the VIPERA actually has a clip potential of 2,000 damage. Ain't that scary? Sure, it will take some time to get up to this clip potential since the interclip reload does take 6 seconds. But that should be no problem, because during those 6 seconds you might as well just stay in your hull down position. You see, no one from the enemy team is able to get through. So far, we have already blocked 1,940 damage. And some of these shells are coming from tank destroyers, so they ain't tiny popcorn shots flying by, but proper projectiles. I bet premium rounds will be coming my way very soon, but I'm fairly confident I will be able to block pretty much anything being thrown at me. I mean, just look at this. I'm bouncing absolutely everything here. UDES, KV-85, the IS. I'm stopping all of them. But all I can do at this point is fire at my enemies, even if I don't see them. Unfortunately, I don't really have the HP to push forward, and even if I would, my team is not really in the position to support me. You see? They didn't even stop that VK from taking a shot at my rear. I'm pretty much on my own here. And the Alt Proto is pushing, but he whiffs a shot, and unfortunately I'm not going to reload in time to punish him. But I will gladly track you, dear VK. It looks like I'm the only one doing damage to him. And the campers are still chilling behind the rock over there. All we can do at this point is hold tight, and hope that the rest of my teammates in the middle and the city will be able to push and flank the enemies. Yes, all you can do is shoot HE at me since nothing else does any damage. This is actually getting kinda boring. You know what that means? Montage time. Ouch! That one hurt. Now I'm more or less down to a one-shot. That's not great. At this point, I need to be careful of even the HE shells. But I can't complain. Just look at the amount of damage we blocked. 4,160. And that is why I feel the VIPERA is one of the better Tier 8 premium tank destroyers you can get at this point. It has amazing armor, a decent gun, and even the capability to make some credits along the way. It sure is a nice tank to have. I got mine in the last Christmas loot boxes. Of course I was hoping for the BZ-176. The absolutely broken Chinese rocket tank. but instead I got the VIPERA and the AMBT, and so far I'm actually really happy with the VIPERA. But you want to hear the crazy thing? I haven't even taken the AMBT out for a spin yet. I probably should at some point in the near future. Let me know if you would like to see that American auto reloader in some of the upcoming videos. Bye-bye Alt Proto. Speaking of the AMBT, the real reason why I have not test-driven it is because I don't really have a good medium tank crew for it. And I only have a few recruits left, which I don't really want to use on a tank I might not even like. It would be silly recruiting those tankers at this point anyway. Not until the Crew 2.0 comes out. I saw a lot of tankers hating on the update 1.20.1, but to be honest, I am kinda excited for a bit of change. With having a day job, I didn't really have the time to do a deep dive into all the changes for this update. So I can't form much of an opinion on it. I suppose we shall see when the update goes public. By the time this video is published, it might have already happened. I just realized, I have not even told you about the actual armor values. On level ground, the turret has at least 300 millimeters of protection. But when you use the gun depression to its fullest potential, that number jumps even higher to 315 millimeters. And just keep in mind, this is a tier 8. Truly insane armor on this thing. No wonder we are bouncing all these shots. And it looks like we did our job holding the line extremely well. After almost 8 minutes of non-stop bouncing, our team has finally gotten the courage to push up on the other side of the map. It looks like we have the situation under control. Oh, the Artie, but no shot on him. And the VK actually managed to penetrate me, down to only 55 HP. But this is not the time to be afraid. Now come here, KV-85. It's time for me to end your misery. I bet he wished he didn't have an HE shell loaded. Otherwise, he would actually have a chance of taking me out. Instead, it's me that gets to secure the last kill of the game. And what a game it was. A steel wall and a top gun. No wonder we got the steel wall. We blocked 5,530 damage and dealt 3,700, which puts us firmly on the top of the leaderboard. If you enjoyed and want to see the next 100 shots, make sure to like and subscribe.